Hey guys, we're back with another episode of The Unuseful Idiots. This idiot's sleeping.
Oh shit. Sorry. Whew. I had one of those sorry guys. Last night I had like best dreams ever. I was like I was at this hotel and there was just naked women and cocaine everywhere. And I was you know when you go back to sleep and you try to continue the dream?
Doesn't work.
Sometimes. I was hoping that even though I had the whole day in between, that maybe I could fall back asleep and live vicariously through my dream self again. But I guess now isn't the time because we're back! The Unuseful Idiots! Season 1, Episode 7. Continuing from our last episado in Espanol. We're back with Episode 7. Really excited to be here.
For those of you non-cultured people.
Well, I mean, you know, Spanish is, you know, pretty popular these days.
Yes.
It's a great language. I'm grateful that I was introduced to it at 7th grade, and my nickname that my 7th grade Spanish teacher, Mrs. Constance, gave me, which was Nacho, still sticks. A lot of my friends still call me Nacho.
Nacho.
You guys can call me Nacho too if you like. This ain't not this Nacho favorite podcast, is it? Well, it's gonna be. It will be if it's not already. Hopefully soon. Really excited to be back. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Really grateful for the overwhelming outpouring of support that we've been getting, right?
Yes.
Over 200, if you count the 200 plus listens that we've had on the podcast apps, and if you add that to the over 100 views that we've had on our YouTube channel,
we have almost 400 total people.
or instances of people actually listening or looking at what the hell we have to say. But Tori, you made a good note on, I think it was social media. You said that people like looking at us more than they do like listening to us, and I think you're right.
Yes, we have 2 videos. 2 of our episodes are up on YouTube. And so with over almost 130 views on YouTube, that's 65 views per episode. And
that's a lot of math.
We have 6 episodes in podcast form and 220 views, 220 listens. So that's like 35.
Yeah, I would say that's a safe
so
a safe
clearly
assessment.
People like looking at us more than they like listening to us.
Well, that's why we give you guys the option here on the Unuseful Idiots radio program, and not just radio, but also video program.
It's not radio. People don't like that. It's
Ethernet. Is that what we call it? Copper wire programming. All right. Anyway, the reason why I was so tired is I was sleeping because I had a very long week. One of the things that really took a lot of my energy this week was a training that I had to partake in at one of my day jobs.
What did you do?
I was contemplating using an inappropriate word at my job, and even though I thought about it and I didn't actually say it, I could have said it, and if I did, then I might have offended someone, might being the key word, and that not only could I have then lost my job, but then I could potentially have also gotten in legal trouble. And so as a result, it seemed to the powers that be that a sexual harassment training was in order for all employees at this particular place of work. Um, so yeah, it really took a lot out of me. It was an hour at 9 in the morning, and
Did you learn anything?
yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, I learned that our society is really in the toilet, and it's just heading down the drains. I don't know where we're going. The fact that we need to have a sexual harassment training because we got bozos that are out there being real assholes to women in particular in the workplace. And then we've got other people who are, maybe a little extra sensitive in this area. And as a result, us normal folk have to now be way more mindful, which is not always a bad thing. Mindfulness is a good practice.
Well, I think like anything, it starts out with the good intentions.
Absolutely.
Look at a show like Mad Men, which was set in the 60s.
Yeah.
In an ad agency, and look at their behavior. That was supposed to be pretty representative of the time back then.
And with that, in that same token, Fox News actually just published an article that there's an Ohio radio station that actually removed the famous 1940s song "Baby It's Cold Outside" because of a listener complaining that the lyrics sounded a little, I guess, chauvinistic or were not.
You know what I say to that?
Appropriate what?
Grow up.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? And this is why we have this discussion. Because, yes, right, is it the person that needs to grow up about that song maybe, affecting them in some negative way? Or do they have a point? And that song was indicative of the era that maybe has obviously carried over to today, which is that, yeah, women are just expected to stay the night when you have a really cool, smoky, deep, sing-songy kind of radio voice.
Yes, but just because things may have, the same could be said for some movies.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Well, everything. Culture. You said it at the beginning.
But music and movies were made to reflect that time. And the movies and the music that was good back then that has carried, you're talking about in the 1940s that song was made. It's over 70 years later. Okay.
So you're saying people are taking things out of context?
Well, not that they're taking it out of context, but you can appreciate it for what it was and know that things were different back then.
Well, the issue that I have...
And that the intent isn't to offend people.
So, right, okay, well, right, but at the time, and the thing is, if you listen to this is why this is interesting, if you listen to the lyrics, which I did, I watched the YouTube song, which had the lyrics on the screen, and it's pretty clear that the woman in the song doesn't want to spend the night, but the man, the male vocalist, I forget the gentleman's name, beautiful voice, great singer, is like coercing her into staying the night. So this brings up a couple of things. One, yeah, sign of the times, power struggle, that sort of thing, the chase, the game that we play in relationships. But also that there's this subservient quality, and because at the end of the song, it seems like she's gonna stay, even though she didn't really want to, and so that leaves the listener it begs the question: well, what's really going on here? Are we as a society placing expectations on women to act a certain way, and are men, coercive and really unfair in the way things go down. So, and this tied into the sexual harassment training in the sense that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of inappropriate shit that can happen in the workplace. Favors done for promotions sexually and all that sort of stuff, and people getting mistreated because they don't act a certain way sexually. But the issue that I have is that it's, I have to then change the way that I am as a person, which I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky, fun-loving, lighthearted guy. I use humor. I think I have a pretty high EQ. I'm sensitive around others and try not to say the wrong thing, but we all make mistakes. But now I have to be really, really careful and really think before I speak. And that takes the fun out of life, Where's the spontaneity? Where's the,
Right.
living in the moment? Now everything has to be premeditated because, God forbid, we, speak incorrectly, because we do, and we will, as human beings, make mistakes, that not only is our job going to be on the line, but holy shit, now there's criminal charges can be brought against you.
Right. Well, that sort of touches on what's been in the news, the past 6 months to a year, which is, the possibility of hate crimes becoming a thing you can be charged with. So, to me, you can't be charged with a hate crime because hate is subjective.
So are you saying that when people,
I'm saying
put swastikas up, that they shouldn't be prosecuted for that, or if people are
no. What I'm saying is that a hate crime, hate is subjective in the sense that what may offend someone won't offend someone else, and there's no way of knowing, even if you think you know someone, that's not, you still may say something that offends someone, and, as long as if your intent wasn't to hurt the person, then that's not a crime.
But see, intention is subjective too, right? And this is where things get muddy, right? It's like, and this is another issue that I had, right? So there's these laws in place, right? Where, sexual harassment is a crime. And that's black and white, it's a crime, like if you are convicted, you are going to pay the price. But it depends on the circumstance and the, intention and all this other stuff that, is nebulous and subjective and uncertain. And so that creates a real divide between something that is a hard line, yes, no, did this happen, it did, versus this kind of, unclear environment which it might occur in.
Right, and that, everything boils down to whether, if you're talking about crime, everything boils down to whether you can prove it in a court of law.
Right.
And to me, you can't really prove any of this in a court, anything that's subjective, you can't prove in a court of law.
Well, that just says a bigger truth, which is that it's hard to prove anything in a court of law.
Right.
Because a lot of it is subjective.
Right. So.
But we need some form of laws. We need some things to be upheld, and then so what's the best way to do that? How do we do that?
But that gets to the thing where, non-violent. To me, it's people who go to jail should be violent criminals.
Agreed.
Either, there are different kinds of violence. There's physical violence, like you starting a fight at a bar with a guy and...
Well, but what if you're drunk, man? You just had a couple and that motherfucker looking at you the wrong way and said, I smacked that mother... Oh, wait, but that's probably not a...
And there's also monetary.
Monetary violence? How dare you hit me with a pile of money?
Well, not that. I mean, stealing from people.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Stealing money from...
So robbery.
Fraud, robbery.
Okay.
Those are violent crimes, too. Even if there's
Listen to this guy.
Even if there's no gun or weapon involved.
Right, there's no bloodshed.
You're taking someone's property.
Which is a violent act. It's a violent act. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
You're violating them.
Good job. Good job using the Greek or Latin root of the word violate in violence. I didn't think about that, actually.
Yeah.
This is
There's
a smart
also
guy.
violin.
This is a big brain on Tory!
I don't think violin has anything to do with that.
But maybe violet does. Oh, yes, because you're black and blue. If I beat your ass!
What about with the color violet?
Color purple. Yeah, we learned about that in my art class, actually. It's a complementary color across from yellow, I believe, as a matter of fact. Anyway, so, yes, good point. Violation of the First Amendment is really what all this comes down to, right? Free speech and intention. And this is a bigger topic that we could probably talk about all day and night.
I mean, essentially, I say, I'm not someone who gets easily offended.
No, you don't.
So...
You're a moron.
Okay, and that may be true.
See, look at that. That was so easy. You were so easygoing about that.
But if someone comes up to me on the street and says something that other people, that might be deemed offensive.
You Jewish, rich, Caucasian, honky-ass, white motherfucker.
Okay.
What would you say to that? Was that? If I overheard that, I'd probably say, that guy's probably having a bad day.
Yeah, I'd probably say that and walk away.
Okay, there we go. End of discussion.
And there's no crime committed, but if that same guy continued to follow me and I felt threatened because...
AKA violated.
Yeah. So, and if I would go into a restaurant or a store and the guy kept following me everywhere I went, and then, maybe grab me or something, then that would be a crime.
So sticks and stones, mate, will never hurt me. No,
sticks
sorry.
And stones,
Damn it, I always get
break
this
my
wrong.
bones, but names will never hurt me.
Right. Is that the rule to live by? Is that a code that still applies in 2018?
I think so.
I happen to agree with you. You're right. And the truth is, I'm Jewish too, and if someone called me a kike, there was a time in my life when I probably would have reacted violently, even though, like you said, that word is just a word, and even though it carries a lot of weight, especially for Jewish people, I would have probably responded with physical violence.
But now you are a new man.
I'm trying to be. But, but my perspective has changed, and I happen to agree with you. I think that, name calling, we give a little bit too much power to words these days. And the problem with that is, and this ties into what I was going to say before with the sexual harassment thing, is the things that we are more wary of today by offending certain people and that sort of thing. Rap music. Rap music today, I mean, talk about the fine line between free speech and violence. That gap is getting very close together because we have we have a culture that is being perpetuated by this genre of music, which is really just making it okay to act crazy. Drugs, violence, sexual misconduct is just a thing that people sing about. And that's where words, if you start saying words enough, they can condition us. And, I love rap music. I love Eminem is like but he's talking about he's just using rap as a means of communication and an outlet and an art form. And, and then you get these other guys who are not talented, who are just talking about violence and
well, think about the best rappers of all time. You have Tupac, who sang songs like Brenda's Got a Baby and Changes and Dear Mama. And then you got someone more recent like Eminem, who sang songs like Cleaning Out My Closet and I'm the Real Slim Shady and Mockingbird, which was basically a lullaby to his daughter.
Yeah, exactly. They're taking an art form and using it for good. Whether that's, there's a lot of cursing, yes, but they're also using it as a cathartic.
It has a message.
It has a message and it's cathartic. It's healing in some way for the artist and for the listener because you're able to identify in that way.
Right. Even the more gangster rap like NWA had a message.
Absolutely. And they were speaking about reality at the time, and they were trying to get a point across. I've heard songs today where they're just talking about cooking up coke in the crock pot, which, again, may be part of their life experience, but how is that useful in any way? And that's the problem. I think these artists are not considering, they're only thinking about the money and the fame and the recognition. They're not thinking about the impact that it has on the people around them. So this is that double-edged sword. It's like, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Do we allow people to say whatever the hell they want for whatever the purpose is, or do we, say, you know what, we gotta nip this in the bud, and we gotta, come down on speech a little bit more. And it's tough. It's tough. It goes back to being subjective and case by case, and that's what makes life interesting, I guess, and also unfortunate because people are going to get in trouble for shit that they probably didn't need to get in trouble for, and other people are going to get off the hook when they definitely should have been held accountable.
Yeah, listen, we know the criminal justice system is imperfect, but we can't abandon due process, and we can't abandon innocent until proven guilty. So until we find a better way to, to justify, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but until we have a better way of
conducting
our criminal process, what we have now is the best system we can have.
Well, so here's the thing. You just said a very important phrase. You said innocent until proven guilty. It doesn't really feel like that's what's going on these days. It feels like people are guilty until proven innocent. Whether I can call and make a report 911 and say, someone's attacking me, and I could be the one beating the shit out of someone else. The cops arrive, they see me running away, they see the other guy, they're going after the other guy. I'm the reporting party, right? That guy's guilty until he's proven innocent. That's the same thing in the workplace and other situations with like the sexual harassment or harassment in general. If I make a complaint, you're going to investigate, and while you're investigating, at least the other party too, whether he was innocent or not, whether something really did transpire or not, is going to be held accountable for it until we can prove otherwise that maybe they should be let off the hook. And that's a big problem that we have with our society today. I watch enough live PD to know that that's how things are conducted.
But I think the bigger problem is that touching on today everything seems guilty until proven innocent, is that with social media and the 24-hour news cycle, it seems that, like, take the Kavanaugh thing, for instance. Everyone immediately jumped on, said, Kavanaugh's guilty. There's no way, which was, that case was very political. But, now two of the women, one of the women have come out saying it was false, that she was coerced into coming forward. And another one...
Who?
I have my theories.
Coerced by who? That wasn't as good. So.
Yeah. I have my theories. I don't necessarily want to... I'll leave that to Alex Jones.
Yeah, sure, that's good. Leave the theories... here on the Unuseful Idiots, we leave the conspiracy theories to others because we give you theories for the thinking. Wait, what did we say we do?
Conspiracy theories for the thinking man.
Theories for the non-conspiring. Is that right? We also that one?
Maybe.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
I forgot.
No! You were saying about Alex Jones. No, before that you were saying about... Oh, man. We gotta write this shit down.
No, it was about... Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh and coercion. And you said you're going to leave your theories. Yes.
Right. But so now, is anyone reporting on that?
Right.
Is anyone saying people still think Kavanaugh is guilty? He shouldn't have been confirmed to the Supreme Court.
Right.
And that's the way people are always going to think, because
there hasn't been a reason to think otherwise.
No one reports on what comes out after.
Right.
Everyone just jumps, and there are many cases of that. Kavanaugh is not the only one. Kavanaugh's that...
Right, people get shamed and they don't get unshamed.
Right. I can assure you that if you went up to 100 random people on the street and asked them about the WWIII case, the majority of them would say that they were rapists. Are they rapists? No. We know that it was false.
Well, you know that it was false. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
You don't remember the WWIII case that was like 5 years...
Was it like hazing or something?
Ago? No, it wasn't hazing. It was like they were accused of raping girls on campus. And it was a long court battle. And then it came out after that the whole thing was made up. But you barely heard about it.
Yeah, clearly I didn't, I remember hearing that there was a scandal of some kind, but I didn't hear what the end result was.
Right, so that's sort of my point, is that, we hear about the initial interaction, the initial accusation, but we don't hear, and then the public makes up their mind,
right,
and jumps to conclusions, but the news doesn't make it a point to tell us what really ended up happening.
Well, we have the media to thank for that. That's for sure.
Right.
All right. Well, this is something we will explore more.
Yeah, I mean it's an ongoing topic.
Absolutely.
I'm sure next week there will be another story that relates to this that comes out.
And speaking of next week, folks, we are mindful of wanting to give you the best content for your listening pleasure. You're taking time out of your day to listen to us, and we are very appreciative. So we want to give you what you want to hear. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys. If there's stories you want to hear covered or guests you'd like to see on our show, we're open to suggestions and conversations. So please feel free to reach out on social media or YouTube or any of the podcast apps. Don't forget to we thank you. Don't forget to like us and comment, rate, do all the good stuff, and share. Especially sharing is
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking of getting like a map of the United States and then like crossing off the states that we have followers, people who listen.
There's going to be a lot of states left on that map.
Well,
we got Hawaii. We got Hawaii and
Hawaii, New Jersey, New York. I mean, that's where we live, so it probably doesn't count.
Really.
But we have Delaware, Texas, Ohio.
All right, we're making it happen. Hopefully, this week will bring us even more of the country and maybe the world.
Well, we have California.
Well, that's like its own country, so that's fine.
Yeah,
it will be eventually one day.
Well, Texas is its own country.
Texas is, it's just...
Well, they still call themselves the Republic of Texas.
Well, at least they're Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. I don't know. I don't like Republic. I don't like anybody. I mean, I love everybody. That's what I'm trying to say.
He likes everybody, but he doesn't like them.
No, I like libertarians, and I like Europeans, and...
So all the Ians?
I guess so. Maybe I should have... I'm going to name my son
Asians?
Ian. Asians are good, too. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Australians?
Smart motherfuckers, and good food, and spiritual.
Brazilians?
All of them.
Colombians?
Americanians.
Canadians?
Yes, I would maybe move to Canada one day. I would. They seem to be doing things...
Panamanians?
Definitely. I mean, there was a time when I liked Panama Gold. Panamanian marching powder.
I like that show, The Panamaniacs.
Oh, is that the Spanish version of the cartoon?
Sure. The Panamaniacs.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right, moving right along. We have more topics to cover here for your enjoyment.
So,
Tori's going to handle this one because I don't know what this is the politic master. He right here, this guy, Tori, he knows way more than I do about the politics.
The bar is set very low.
And I can't even reach it, so what does that say about my height?
All right.
I'm vertically challenged, folks.
So the midterms just ended. We discussed that on a previous episode, the outcomes, and so the next election is going to be the presidential election, and so now is about the time when things start picking up and you hear about candidates and people who are thinking about running and people declare and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So there have been some lists floating around about potential Democratic candidates. And, Trump's in office. He's a Republican, so unless Trump says he's not running for re-election, which I think is very possible because, listen, the guy's going to be like 75 years old, and I don't know if he really wanted to be president in the first place. But, we're going to focus today on the Democrats. And, I saw a list that was put out by the Washington Post about the top 15 candidates that they say are going to run, that should run for president under the Democratic ticket. So there's Representative John Delaney of Maryland, which I don't really know anything about.
Okay.
But then there's Michael Avenatti. You know him, right?
Who?
Michael Avenatti.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Stormy Daniels' lawyer.
Yo, Stormy Daniels is high, yo. He's got them tingle bitties. Just kidding.
He also brought forward Julie Swetnick in the Kavanaugh hearing that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, right.
Who
Dun dun dun.
said she went to multiple rape parties, like multiple parties where rapes and gangbangs were going on, and that story never added up to me.
Yeah, that sounds a little strange.
And the guy's shady.
Yes, to say the least.
Like, why is he on a list? A relatively short list of Democratic candidates.
Well, we could thank the Washington Post for that. Bunch of
Well,
really
I've
accurate
seen him pop up on a couple of other lists too.
Great.
Which is just weird. So then we have former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, who I don't know anything about. So let's move on.
Moving right along.
Number 12 on the list, Hillary Clinton.
Oh, don't say it!
I can't even say her name right.
Oh, it can't be.
Now, if Hillary
the irony.
If Hillary Clinton runs again,
well, I'm gonna.
Wow.
She'll chase me right out of the freaking country.
She lost in 2008, which, I mean, maybe she didn't really put up a fight after the election, which I think it was sort of like everyone told her, like, don't do anything. Because, Barack Obama was a very charismatic guy. And
yeah, still is a charismatic guy.
He was the first potential black president at the time. And he went on to win. So I think they were sort of like, next time.
Sure.
Next time you'll be the candidate next time.
Right.
Which leads to what happened in the 2016
which I don't even think
primaries.
we need to get into.
No, we don't, but she ended up losing that election.
She sure did. She sure did.
Trump.
Yep.
So, why would... I don't think she should run a third time.
I think they should make a rap song that goes, that Bill Clinton money! They got that Clinton family money! That Clinton Foundation money! Instead of... Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean...
They got that Clinton money!
I mean, if she runs and she's the candidate, say hello to 4 more years of Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. Even the people that voted for Hillary the last time would probably vote for Trump again. That's not true. Is that true? That's probably not true.
No, I think the people who voted for Trump would vote for Trump again.
That's probably more accurate.
So, and then there's Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota.
And she can't win because of her name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't
Klingon. It looks like Amy Klingon. Okay,
Maybe.
next.
Yeah, I don't know who she is, really. Former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe.
Sounds like Macaulay Culkin. That sounds good enough for me.
I don't know much about him.
Speaking of Macaulay Culkin, if you guys haven't checked out the Home Alone Christmas reunion parody trailer, it's hysterical. I highly suggest you watch it.
You can't say that word anymore. It's offensive to women.
What, hysterical?
Yes.
Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. But
I just stick to hilarious.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. Yep, you won that round. That's for sure. You definitely won that round.
But so, yeah, I mean...
I guess I can't use the word crazy then either, because we know the ladies are crazy. Just kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, it should definitely be a real movie. Someone should get on that.
Absolutely, and I hope it is. I saw Jim Gaffigan in the background at the end of the preview. I think he might have been the director of it.
And it was... And it must have had something to do with Universal because they had the Universal logo.
Right, and they used a bunch of other movies to cut in between that might have been Universal films. All right, what else we got? We got more shit to cover. We're running out of time, Tori. We talked so much.
Got time.
Oh, do we?
So, former Mayor Michael Bloomberg, everyone knows who he is.
He's going to run as a Democrat, though?
Well, the story is that when he was running for New York mayor, he decided to run as a Republican because he saw it as the easiest path to... So he was... The point is, he was not a Republican. I mean, the whole thing is stupid. Like,
yes, it is. The whole thing is
judge a candidate on their views, not on whether they have the R or the D in front of their name.
There you go.
But, I mean, the guy's gonna be like 75. Like, let's stop having presidents that have AARP cards.
I'm down. I'm down for that. Get some young blood in that house.
Yeah, I mean, like, I want a president who, after their first term, I'm not saying this guy can't be elected because he's on his deathbed. Like, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. So...
You're entitled to that. Number 8.
So, number 8 is Beto O'Rourke. So, he's famous. He was running for senator in Texas and lost to Ted Cruz in the recent election. And everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's going to be Ted Cruz. We're going to have a Democrat senator in Texas. This is amazing.
Right.
He lost. Like, just, no.
Right. There you go.
You've had your time.
Okay. Moving right along.
And, I mean, him, like, he could run. It's, like, let's hear what he says. I don't have a problem with him running because, there's a primary process. So we got to hear these guys out first. There's Sherrod Brown in Ohio, senator. I mean, yeah, he's another one who should probably run in the primary, and let's hear what he has to say.
Great, fair enough. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I hear, like, a lot of people think he's good, and...
I got live PD to watch tonight, man. You know what I'm saying?
So, then there's Kirsten Gillibrand, who's the other senator in New York, not Chuck Schumer.
Right, okay.
Not Amy Schumer's uncle, or his whatever.
Is that true? A little factoid?
Yes.
Okay.
But she's...
Well, I didn't know that was going to be a sneezer right now.
Alright, so we could hear her out too.
Let's hear her out too. Her and Sherrod Brown. We got this. Let's go.
Senator Cory Booker. Now, as a resident of the...
fine state.
I don't know if I'd use that word.
Okay.
But...
Garden state?
The swampy state.
Well, you can't deny that. Driven
So,
down to AC enough times to know that much.
So, this is a guy who... not so great.
Uh-oh.
So, after the 2016 election, Bernie Sanders introduced a bill in Congress that would have allowed us to buy prescription drugs from Canada.
Okay.
Now, that bill got vetoed. And, you know, it's not what you're thinking. It wasn't vetoed because all the Republicans vetoed it. It was vetoed because of partisanship.
Okay.
You know, Democrats vetoed it and Republicans vetoed it. The same Democrats approved it and Republicans approved it. But a funny thing happened.
On the way to the forum.
Yeah, sure. So, every Democrat who vetoed the bill got big donations from Big Pharma. And who was on that list of vetoes? Cory Booker.
So he got his pockets filled up a little bit.
Yes. Now, to me, that's a disqualification.
I would say.
Now, not only that, today I saw an article saying that, you know, you've heard about this tear gassing of the, on the other side of the border.
Yeah.
Border.
Yep.
So, apparently, Cory Booker receives donations from the makers of said tear gas.
Oh my gosh.
Now, okay, just leave. Cory Booker's done. Like, no.
There you go. Spoken like a true New Jerseyan. Oh, Ian, I like that. I like you because you're from New Jersey and you're a New Jerseyan.
Sure. Okay, so now...
The top four, ladies and gentlemen.
Former Vice President Joe Biden.
No comment.
Now, whether you may like Joe Biden or not, that's not really the point. Like, the guy's old.
Yeah.
Like,
You've been in the White House.
We don't need old presidents.
Wait, do the vice presidents live in the White House? I forget. I don't think they do,
No.
right? They live somewhere else?
No, but they spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So.
And there was also that whole thing about, like, when he ran for president in 1988, he was caught stealing speeches. So,
Man, none of these guys are white as snow, I'll tell you.
So then there's Kamala Harris, senator from California, who gets a lot of recognition as one of the front runners.
Okay.
In the campaign. Now, there was a story about a week ago where Kamala Harris compared ice,
like,
not ice cubes.
What? Oh, okay. I was gonna say water,
just
frozen
like
water.
the immigration custom enforcement or whatever that stands for.
Yeah.
She compared them to the KKK. Now,
a government agency to the KKK?
Now, whether you may like ICE or not, or think they're a waste on taxpayer dollars or whatever, comparing them to the KKK, like, no.
Well, I mean, people say that the police is like the biggest gang in the world, you know?
Yeah, but
the police force.
Well, that's another topic.
It's I think she's trying to appeal to the masses, especially in a state like California.
I think she was definitely positioning herself in as to what she thinks her base wants to hear.
Hopefully, because if she really believed that, then she's unfit to serve. That's for sure.
What a lot of people don't know about Kamala Harris is the summer after the 2016 election, Kamala Harris was thrown a fundraising party in East Hampton by, guess who?
Donald Trump?
The Clintons.
Oh, the other one. I almost had it. I was one out of two. It was like so close.
So,
really?
If we don't want Clinton to be president,
we don't want Kamala Harris to be president.
Right. I mean, we don't want someone who associates so closely to Hillary Clinton to be in the White House, because then, I mean, we all know the Clintons and how power hungry they are.
And how horny they are.
That too. Especially
Hillary, man. Whew.
Well, that's a whole other story. We could...
Pizzagate! No, I'm just kidding. So, wait a minute. So she had this party thrown. Man, these guys like to party.
Fundraising party.
So
like $5,000 a plate fundraising party.
Jeez Louise. Okay.
So...
You are full of information tonight. I love it. Where did you get all this from?
Well...
He's not even reading off a teleprompter or anything. This is off the cuff, ladies and gentlemen. My man is full of knowledge.
So, whatever. So we know, not a lot of people know that. That happened way before anything like that should happen. People shouldn't be worrying about who's running for president this summer after the election. That's 3.5 years away. You don't need to,
Well, they were very infuriated, so maybe they wanted to do whatever they could to just get the...
Right, I just don't think people should...
You just want to get the word out.
Right, I think people should know who Kamala Harris really is, and who she has ties with.
Sure. All right. Who's next?
And I think it. So the next one is Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
So I mean, listen, I voted for Bernie Sanders. I wrote him in the general election because there was no way I was voting for Trump or Clinton. So...
just when you guys thought this was a Trump supporter I'm sitting next to, think again. Right. Not everything you think is the truth. Just like not everything you hear is what you think, or the things you see aren't always what you feel, and my taste buds are good.
Right, so...
Haiku by Noah Fleiss.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen. We all know who Bernie Sanders is. He talks a good game for progressives. From the progressive point of view, he wants, wages to increase. He wants people to be able to go to college without a burden. He wants a lot of good things,
Yeah.
and things that sound really good in theory. He wants free health care for everyone. But, I mean, it was just a little weird to me that he, was so quick to join Hillary Clinton on the
Afterwards.
trail. Yeah,
Yeah.
once he lost.
Right.
Like, that just didn't rub me the right way. And I never really agreed. I never agreed with him on the economic stuff. Because, as someone who spent a lot of time in a hospital as a kid and hearing many stories from people overseas that live in places with socialized medicine, it's very clear to me that that does not work. I was listening to an EMT from Canada who he's a health guy, and he wanted to do routine checks on all his vitals. So he wanted to get his blood drawn every month and test all his levels out and everything. And they wouldn't allow him to do that. Because in Canada, you have socialized medicine. And they wouldn't even allow him to pay for it out of pocket. And then there was that story about that kid in England who was gonna die,
Oh, yeah.
and the government basically decided to stop treating him,
Right.
and the Vatican City, the Pope said that they were willing to pay for the kid to go to the U.S. or to come to the U.S. and receive treatment, and England said no. So, what? That makes no sense. I'm sorry.
Well,
but,
thanks. That thumbs up to the Vatican. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool of the Vatican.
They took a break from watching the stars to see when the alien invasion was going to happen, and so that they could restructure their.
Woo!
Hey, don't call me crazy. Are we down to number one?
Yes. So
Numero uno. I wonder who this is. I'm
one.
excited. You didn't even tell me who this is going to be.
Senator Elizabeth Warren. So,
excuse me.
we
Sorry.
all know her name.
I do know her name. That's true. I have heard of her.
She's the senator of Massachusetts, and she's been in the news lately.
And why is that?
So, apparently, she's been claiming for years that she is Native American.
Oh, this whole
Part
thing.
of the Cherokee tribe.
Yep. Didn't we talk about this before?
Yeah, I think we did. She apparently used it to get into Harvard.
Right.
She used her Native American status to get into Harvard because you can check the boxes and...
Right.
So, and there's no way for Harvard to check. I mean, Harvard's not going to do a DNA test on every applicant they have.
Sure.
So, but during the 2016 election, Donald Trump made it a point to make fun of her and say, I want a DNA test. So, which, kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's typical for Donald.
right.
He's a jokester.
So apparently Elizabeth Warren finally took the test. And, for whatever reason, maybe she was sick and tired of Donald Trump calling her Pocahontas or whatever. I think it was probably she wanted to set herself up for the 2020 election. Running for president. Well, that backfired. Turns out she's 1/1064th Native American.
1/1064th.
Yes.
So 1 with a line.
1064.
With a line and a 1 over it.
Yes.
That's a very small amount.
Yes.
I probably have that much Native American.
And it turns out she's not even
And
Cherokee.
my family's from Europe! No, I'm just kidding.
Like,
sorry.
Cherokee Nation said she's not. After she took the test, Cherokee Nation came out and said that she's not Cherokee.
So then should they take away her Harvard education? Like her diploma?
No, that's...
Why? She would, maybe if...
Because she completed the coursework.
Okay, but still.
Like, you can't retroactively do that. It's like...
Well, I'm sure there's some people who would hope that could happen. And I'm sure there's some people who've been in similar situations where it has happened to.
Statute of limitations is up.
Good point.
So, and then, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the Native American in her isn't even North American. It's Central and South American.
Wow.
So, no, she's...
You're such a gossip, Tori.
So, but, I want to throw a name into that list.
So it turned, 16 into 17?
15 into 16.
Okay.
But this person should be, 1 through 15 of that list. Like, let's say Elizabeth Warren is here. This person should be up here, out of the screen. That's how high she should be.
And who's down here?
Whoever.
Me!
Yeah. So my pick for Democrat candidate of president would be Tulsi Gabbard.
Who?
Exactly. So
we didn't plan that, guys.
So not a lot of people know who she is, which is very surprising because everyone should know who she is.
Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes. So she is the representative of Hawaii.
Hawaii!
So during the 2016 election, early on...
Wait, we're going to have to talk about Hawaiian reggae when you're done, but go ahead, sorry.
So during the 2016 election, in the spring before the election, she made the news, which is when I first heard about her. She was the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee.
Okay.
She stepped down because she did not like what the Democrats were doing to Bernie Sanders.
Very interesting.
So she, right there, she's principled. She stands up for what she believes in.
Absolutely. That's a very big plus in my book.
Right. So she's also a military veteran. from the age of 21, she was in the military. She's a couple of years older. She's going to be like 40, I think, for the election.
Very young.
Yeah, very young. So she's very, being a military veteran, she's very anti-war. She saw firsthand what was going on. So now she's very anti-war. She actually, over the summer, she came out with a bill that was co-sponsored with Walter Jones, who's the representative from North Carolina.
Walter Jones!
Who is a Republican, who is famous for, he's not really famous because no one's ever heard of him, but he has a reputation because he is one of the only people who voted for the war in Iraq, the 2001, and is now a staunch anti-war person. Because he realized what went on. He knew that it was bogus. He admits to the mistake he made in voting for the war. And so...
Another principled person.
Right. So him and Tulsi Gabbard co-sponsored a bill, House Resolution 922, if anyone wants to look it up, that basically says any declaration of war by the president could be an impeachable offense, because Congress is supposed to approve wars. The president's supposed to go to Congress, say, this is why we need to invade or whatever. This is why we need to go to war. And Congress is supposed to approve it. Well, that hasn't been happening too much lately. Iraq wasn't a Congress-approved war. Afghanistan wasn't. Yemen wasn't. Syria, what's going on in Syria, our involvement there wasn't. People didn't even know that we had troops in Niger. That came out like last year or something. No one knew about that.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even know that either.
Right. So, and the fact that Tulsi Gabbard's not even on a list of people kind of says something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they want her to run.
She's too principled for this country.
Well, definitely for the Democrats.
Yeah, that's...
Maybe if she was a Republican, although probably not, because, we all saw what happened to someone like Rand Paul when he was running for president under the Republican ticket. He got nowhere.
Right.
He barely got any face time. And Rand Paul is famous for being Ron Paul's son. And we all know, everyone knows who Ron Paul is.
Who's Ron Paul?
Okay. I guess not everyone.
I thought he was an actor. Oh no, I'm thinking of Ron.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul or Ron.
No, Aaron Paul's was in Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, but then there's the guy from that Hulu show. No, never mind.
Well, Aaron Paul also had a Hulu show.
No, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm in Amazon Prime anyway.
Well, Ron Paul was famous. He ran for president multiple times under the Republican ticket. but he's also like the modern father of libertarianism.
Right.
That's who he's viewed as. A lot of people found libertarianism because of him.
Okay.
So, he's famous for a lot of stuff. And Rand Paul follows in his father's footsteps a lot. But, so, I think that the point is Tulsi Gabbard should be at the top of everyone's list, and the fact that I have not seen her on one of these lists says a lot.
Yeah.
So, that's the breakdown of that.
Fantastic job, Tori. That was wonderful. Certainly informative and educational for me. As always, you are a political fountain of information, and I appreciate that. I think it might make sense to just do a quick little mention of some of these funny
So
headlines that we saw in the news this last week. By the way, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I hope no one got in a food coma.
I hope everybody got in a food coma. I hope nobody had dried turkey though.
Yes.
Because that would have been a crime. That would have been a violent
I think
crime.
a lot of people had dried turkey because turkey is very easy to overcook.
It's true. This year my mom, Mamma mia, let me tell you something, okay? She know how to cook a turkey. She know how to cook a turkey. She'll make a very, very juicy turkey. Okay?
She cooked Turkish people?
No, not the Turkish. The Turkish. She cooked the Turkish. Not the Turkish. The Turkish.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. The juice. Lot of juice.
Okay.
There was a lot of Jews at my house because we're all Jewish. A lot of Jewish turkey. Turkish. Turkey.
Alright, so King County, which is in Washington and includes Seattle, says e-cigarettes are more dangerous than heroin.
What? Man, where my jewel at?
Yeah, just...
What are you talking about? Man, I gotta get me some more jewel, man. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
My stomach's killing me. I'm going crazy.
Just, come on. No.
No, exactly.
Seriously? No.
Nope.
Alright, so...
That's enough of that.
We don't need to...
Yeah, we don't even need to say anything about that.
Just, nah.
Nope.
So, now, Oakland University in Michigan decided to hand out hockey pucks for students to use as defense.
Defense of what?
Instead of guns.
In what kind of a situation?
I have no idea. I mean, the only thing I can think of a hockey puck to be used for is you take off your sock, you stick the hockey puck in there, and you whack someone with it.
In that case, you should use a cue ball. That's usually what they do with that, or a bunch of quarters. But
yeah,
it's interesting you say that because I do go to college, and I saw, in the place where there used to be, in case of emergency, fire generally being the emergency, this is the evacuation plan. Instead, right by the door, there's an active shooter scenario emergency and how to handle yourself if there's an active shooter, which I think is just the craziest thing in the world. That no longer is it are they somewhat potentially natural situations, emergency situations like fire or earthquake, but the more common threat these days is someone walking into your establishment and just shooting it all up. Crazy, sick. But hockey pucks, not really going to do very much.
Yeah,
better off
sort of like close quartered combat.
That, and if you have to, I mean, if you don't even have a sock, if you go with sandals and you get a hockey puck, then you're going to need to have really good aim, and I have horrible aim. So I'm going to wind up, throwing it out the window.
I think most people don't have very good aim.
Well, no, I'd say maybe 50-50, but
check bathrooms. Not very good aim.
That's why you see in the urinals, at least, I don't know if they have them in women's restrooms, but men's,
Target?
The urinal, they have like a target. It's like a little, like, insignia or a bug sometimes that you aim towards.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I'm getting
right on target. I've heard, like, in some bathrooms they have, don't eat giant mint.
They have what?
Don't eat giant mint.
What?
A sign.
Don't eat giant... Oh, the giant mint in the urinal? Wow. If there's someone that's in danger of eating that mint, man, I want to meet you. If you're listening, please let us know that you're thinking of eating that mint, because that's special. I have seen Japanese bathrooms. They really know how to clean their behinds. They have like electronic toys, the bidets and all these crazy electronic settings.
You ever see those bathrooms where they have like, I think it's in the Asian countries too, but it's a long thing. There's no like individual urinals.
Yes.
And it's filled with ice.
Yeah, they have those in some stadiums and stuff too, or in concert halls. Yeah. No, that's not just an Asian thing.
Oh. I've never seen it.
That's domestic, baby. All right, we're going to say one more thing. We want to plug one of our good... He's not a friend yet, but we hope one day he will be. I know I love country music, and I know Tori loves country music.
Yeah!
There is a country artist that if you haven't listened to yet, you need to. His name is...
Wheeler Walker Jr.
And...
he has a new album out today. WWIII. World War III.
No, Wheeler Walker 3.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to look like World War III.
Because, I guess that's
because topical,
like contemporary.
Yeah, people think we're on the verge of World War III.
Because there's artists like Wheeler Walker Jr. who are out there trying to,
stir shit up.
And he stir it up. He is, and with my cowboy boots and spurs, I'm stirring it all over the dance floor.
He's stirring it up so much. He's not allowed on any radio stations. His albums aren't being sold in any mass chains like Walmart or Target.
And he's not even recognized by the country music community as a real country artist. But his music is so country.
His albums are still number one.
They're still number one in country, baby, because they good. And he's singing about that real stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So check out Wheeler Walker Jr.'s new album. You will not be disappointed.
I've heard a couple of songs.
Pretty good.
Stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
I mean, I'm not going to try and sing his stuff because it's not for the faint of heart.
That, and we get enough of you singing. We want to leave something to the imagination.
Yeah. I don't want to...
Even if a voice.
I don't want to show him up.
Exactly. Let him be him, you be you, and I'll be me. And then everybody will go home happy. Because I got some live PD to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. We know this was a long episode. We hope you got a lot of good, useful information so that you can go out there and be an unuseful idiot just like us. Don't buy into that propaganda. Go after the holistic approach to the truth. These are conspiracies for the thinking man and theories for the non-conspiring. We are the unuseful idiots. Make sure to like us, comment, rate, and subscribe to our podcast and on YouTube, please. Don't forget to email us. Hit us up on Facebook.
The Unuseful Idiots
at gmail.com. And Twitter and our Patreon page, The Unuseful Idiots.
And we will be putting tiers up on the Patreon page. That's what a lot of people do to sort of incentivize people.
Yep. And we got our logo coming too. If you guys have any ideas for us, or if you want to create one,
yes,
that's fine.
I mean, if anyone, like we said earlier in the episode, if you have questions you want us to talk about, maybe, or topics, or you have suggestions for guests or whatever, if you know someone who you think would be good on our show, let us know. You let us know on email, Twitter.
And let it snow. Let it snow.
Let it go.
Let it go. Don't care about anymore. Let it go. Let it snow.
It snowed a lot a couple of weeks ago.
Let us know. It did. It sure did. Unexpectedly. People were stuck on bridges for hours and hours. I felt really bad. I felt really bad for the people who were actually addicted to heroin, and they had to sit in their car, and they thought they were just going out for a little to go pick up some stuff, and they were going crazy.
What about that person who smoked their last cigarette and couldn't get to a store?
That's what I'm saying. I feel so bad. It's not fair. Meanwhile, I was actually off that day and just hanging out at home. It's a good day to be off. Thanks, God. Gotcha. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Peace out.